Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Reminder, guys, live chat. Let me look at my phone. Tell everyone good morning. Soccer Mom of One, Melanie G, Lori Stacks, Beach Bum, Lisa 54. Not the One. Good morning, everyone. I'm early this morning. I figured I would go early, go live a little bit early. Crap, I can't talk. Because Mark's having surgery this morning. So I've got the free time. And plus, Chad Daybell's making a court appearance. I thought we would look at that, watch him do that. But that doesn't happen until 11 my time. And plus, we got a bunch of topics that I wanted to talk about. So, yeah. You may hear my coffee pot in the background. And we're going to be interrupted by Ladybug because she wants in the door. So hold on one second, guys. Fowler's still outside. She needs to come on because it's raining. She don't need to be out in the rain because of her ears. So we got a lot to talk about this morning. But before we get started, we're going to do our good topic first. Also, I wanted to tell y'all, I'm going to do the channel members shout outs in a separate video. We can hear you. I hope your mom's doing good. Never lose hope. Oh, y'all, remember Will in y'all's prayers, 411 now. He lost his grandmother. And he's dealing with all that right now. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Okay. Let me get into my articles. I'm going to share our good topic first, and it's about a dog. A woman who rescued a dog that was abandoned out in the middle of nowhere. And she wrote a letter to the owners. Just a letter. Hope she don't know who the owners are, but just a letter, and had a, I think put into the newspaper. I'm going to read it here. I just read a little bit of it this morning. I didn't read the letter that she wrote to the owners because I was saving it to do with you guys. I wanted to read it with you guys. I can't believe that people just abandon animals out in the middle of nowhere. Sydney, the woman missing in Arkansas, she is missing from where my family lives, pretty much less than 30 minutes away from where I live now. We need to look that up. Not the one in just a second. Okay. Are we screen sharing? Okay. King's SPCA rescuer, Brooke Raposo, was informed about a haggard-looking dog abandoned on a dirt road in California's remote wilderness. The dog, later named Banjo, refused to budge from his spot as he believed that his owner would return for him. The poor dog was seen eating sticks to suppress his hunger, but he refused any human's help. Oh. Let me go to the full story here. Okay, let me exit out of that tab and go back to my screen share. That Newsbreak app always does that to me. Okay. And it says, woman writes, oh crap, it froze up on me. An open letter. Woman writes, Scathing letter to owner who abandoned dog in middle of nowhere. Still figuring out how to use this laptop. Okay, it says when Brooke arrived at the spot with a fellow rescuer, she could hear the howling coyotes in the vicinity, and she knew she had to act fast. However, Banjo straight up refused all rescue attempts. After hours of coaxing, the rescuers finally managed to convince the distressed dog to follow them. There's Banjo. Brooke was so disturbed by Banjo's plight that she decided to write a scathing open letter to the person who abandoned this faithful dog. This is the letter she wrote. You know, dogs have feelings too. I believe dogs have souls. They have to. Dear the callous piece of shit owner of this dog. Today we noticed a couple of emails from people that had noticed your dog that had been abandoned on Fifth Avenue and Excelsior something other Avenue. After looking at date, your dog had been sitting there since Saturday morning, at least. It was 3 p.m. today when we finally noticed the messages because we have been so busy. We decided to drive over and see if we could help. Sure enough, there he was. He waited for you. He hadn't left the place you made him stay. He was being a good dog. He stayed close to the last place he saw his favorite person in the world. He thought you were coming back. He was watching every car that would come down the road, hoping it was you coming back for him. Your dog has been freezing, hungry, and scared for days because you are a heartless piece of crap. He waited for you. There he is, Banjo. He was so hungry that he was eating sticks. Nice people had stopped to drop off food, but he was still so hungry and confused. But even with food sitting in front of him, he knew he had to wait for you to come back. He waited for you. He isn't a bad dog. He is a very good dog. You were a bad friend. You abandoned someone that would give his life for you, someone who doesn't care how long you stayed away at work, someone who is just happy to see you if you just go outside to check the mail or if you leave for days, someone who would lick the tears off your cheek and the leftover food from your plate when you were done eating. He won't be waiting for you anymore. Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry. Gosh, I get too emotional. After he was seen for days, curled up in a ball. God, I can't read it, guys. On the road, you left him. We came back for him. We came back with a fellow rescuer named Yvonne from Raven's Rescue Bully Breed Sanctuary. It was getting dark, and we could hear the coyotes in the distance. We sat there for hours. We talked to him. We sat there singing to him. We fed him and offered him a blanket. Your dog ate from our hand after hours of throwing him wet food. Your dog finally came closer to us as we laid in the cold dirt, telling him, everything is going to be okay. And this is the last time anyone will hurt you. Oh my gosh, guys, I've got emotional here. I didn't realize this letter was like this. Your dog finally let me pet the top of his head, then behind his ears. Finally, he didn't run when I scooted over and sat next to him. He finally laid down and allowed me to give him belly rubs. He let me put a leash on him and didn't try to run. Oh, Banjo, you made me cry. He didn't panic until it was time to leave. He wanted to wait for you. He refused to walk to the van. I carried your huge dog to our van. Your big, gentle, scared, and loyal dog. I carried your dog away from the last place he saw you. He howled the whole car ride to our shelter. He howled the most painful howl I've ever heard. It was the sound of his heart breaking. He desperately tried to get back to the spot that you had left him. He frantically checked every window and then watched out the back window as we drove away. His howls lasted until he came to the driver's seat and howled at me. As I reached over to pet his head, he looked at me so confused and laid his head on my lap and whined as we pulled up to the shelter. You don't deserve this amazing puppy. You don't deserve any dog at all. My dog will forget about you. He will find a good home and will get the love he deserves. He will know what it's like to have a real home. I don't care who you are or your excuse as to why you abandoned my dog. It is probably a bullshit reason, anyways. You are a scumbag. I pray your year is filled with karma and bad health. Sincerely, Brooke. Good job, Brooke. Oh, look at Banjo. That broke my heart. But it's a happy ending. Hey, Karen. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry I cried. That just broke my heart for Banjo. It did. But he had a happy ending. It's Brooke's dog now. She'll make sure that he's took care of. What a hero. She is a hero and the person that helped her rescue Banjo. Okay. That was a long letter. I didn't realize it was that long, but that was a good little story. His heart is broken. Which shelter is he in? I think I assumed that he was staying with her, but I think it was called Ravens. Let me get back into my article. It was Ravens something rescue. Okay, it's King's SPCA. Brooke Raposo. She's the rescuer. And he was found abandoned in California, in the California wilderness on a dirt road. You could probably look up King's SPCA. Yeah, they're going to make sure that he has a forever home. She was calling him my dog. So hopefully she keeps him. Hold on, guys. Let me let my little doggy in before she gets dramatic. Next, she'll be wanting me to lift her in the bed. Okay, so we need to move on to our true crime topics because I've got all crybaby-ish and oh my gosh, stuff just gets to me really easy. Let me get back to my chat here. We're going to talk about Alissa Turney. She disappeared May 17th, 2001. I believe this is in Phoenix. And her stepfather has now been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. She was just 17 years old when she disappeared. I believe she was getting ready to go to a graduation party that night. It's a crazy story. I actually didn't know about this. And I saw an article about it this morning. And so I started looking at it. And Alyssa's sister actually has a podcast and has done TikTok videos about her sister's disappearance. I'm glad that piece of shit has finally been arrested. Do you know about this case, Verbal? Let me pull up the article here. Sounds like I'm going to have to go lift the Empress up in the bed. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Well, that's great. As soon as I walk in there, she jumps up. Oh my gosh, guys. They keep me busy around here. I can't get a moment to myself. Now, I recorded the press conference that they did about this yesterday. Where's my Alissa article? Oh, right here it is. Also, we're going to talk about this massacre that happened. A girl, her sister, and her two cousins. The cousins were brothers. Her cousins, okay. They were all slaughtered by an ex. Okay, let's share the picture of Alissa. So her dad picked her up from school early, right? And before she left school, of course, Alissa had a boyfriend. Alissa had a job too. She poked her head into his shop class and was like, my stepdad's picking me up early. Told him bye, and then nobody's seen her again. Now, the stepdad's story is I think he dropped Alissa off at home and then went to pick up one of their other kids from a field trip. Now, I listened to some of the press conference, but they really didn't say much besides that he was arrested. We can play it if you guys want. It says the stepfather of Alissa Turney, a girl who disappeared in 2011, has been arrested. In a Facebook Live press statement, the Phoenix Police Department announced the arrest of Michael Troy Turney on charges of second-degree murder. Now, it says he's her stepfather, but they got the same last name, so he must have adopted her, I'm assuming. Alissa had just turned 17 when she mysteriously vanished. She told her boyfriend that her stepfather was picking her up early at Paradise Valley High School in Phoenix on May 17, 2001. She was never seen again. Michael Turney pushed the idea that Alissa ran away from home. Family members found a handwritten note, reportedly written by Alissa, claiming she was going to California. Michael Turney contacted the police, but after an exhaustive search, the trail went cold. Well, I wonder if they got a handwriting expert to analyze that letter. Hell, he could have read that. In 2008, authorities announced foul play was involved in Alissa's disappearance after investigators learned of accusations of sexual abuse by Michael Turney. The focus on the case shifted to a criminal investigation. Well, I was just thinking that in my head a few minutes ago. I wonder if he could have been sexually abusing her and that's why he killed her to shut her up, afraid she was going to tell on him. Um, Her sister, Sarah Turney, has a podcast, and I got the link to it on my phone. It's called Voices for Justice. Gosh, Nancy Grace, quit advertising your stinking podcast. We get it. Okay. So that is really all it's saying about it. I'm always suspicious when people start pushing an idea. Like this Michael, he was pushing the idea that Alissa ran away from home. He wanted everyone to believe that so no one would be suspicious of him. Probably was sexually abusing her. Why else would he kill her? What would be his motive to kill her? Okay, let me look at my chat here. She wrote it, but he made her CC. Well, the reporter asked the prosecutor, district attorney, I guess, um, if they didn't have Alyssa's body, then how did they know that she was dead and that her stepdad did it? And she wouldn't answer the question. If you guys want to listen to it, I can play it for you. I've got it right here on my phone. I recorded it this morning, and I noticed ever who was streaming that, their mic had a little bit of a static in it. You could hear every now and then. Sydney's case will have my full attention for a while. I'm getting in touch with the search team, so I will be joining them. The lady is not out in a park 15 minutes. What is her name? Sydney what? Not the one? And I will write it down. Let me just write it down. Anyways, the district attorney said they were keeping a tight lip on it. Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, Lisa, hold on. I'm just going to play it from my phone, guys. I'm not even going to try to do it on my, let me get out of my chat here. Go to my gallery.
We took a plea and he served 10.
Hear that noise? That was something on their end.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for participating in this. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for participating. My name is Alissa, and I'm proud to be your county attorney. I want to acknowledge behind me is Chief Jerry Williams from the Phoenix Police Department. On May 17th, 2001, Paradise Valley High School student Alissa Turney poked her head into her boyfriend's woodshop class to say her dad was picking her up early. That was the last time that anyone saw her alive. Her stepfather was taking her out of school early, and Alissa was only 17 years old, and she loved animals, drawing, and music. She had a part-time job at a local fast food restaurant. She had plans on the evening that she disappeared to go celebrate with some upperclassmen that were graduating. According to those who knew her, Alissa was a good kid who never missed work or school. She was a good student and enjoyed being with her friends. Alyssa's life was just beginning. For nearly 20 years, those who loved Alissa have longed to see her or hear from her one last time. They have longed for closure and demanded that anyone who is responsible for her disappearance be held accountable. Today, I am announcing the grand jury indictment for second-degree murder of Michael Roy Turney, Alyssa's stepfather. With this announcement, I must say that a charge of a crime is merely an accusation. The defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And I would also be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank the dedicated officers at the Phoenix Police Department for their decade-long work on this case. They worked tirelessly to get us to this point. They laid down the facts as they saw them. They didn't give up on Alissa. Their integrity and professionalism is what we expect from our police departments, and I could not be prouder of them, and so should the community. To Alyssa's sister, Sarah Turney, your perseverance and commitment to finding justice for your sister, Alissa, is a testament to the love of a sister. Because of that love, Alyssa's light has never gone out. And she lives on in the stories and photos that you have shared with the community. This passion you have and have demonstrated for her during your journey is something that will keep Alyssa's memory alive forever. And while this is just the first step of many seeking justice for Alyssa, I am committed to bringing anyone, the person responsible for Alyssa's death, to justice. Seeking justice for victims of crime and their families will always be important and job one for this office, and it's why I became a prosecutor, to protect victims of this community and hold those who do wrong accountable. When seeking justice on behalf of victims, being a voice for those who can no longer speak for themselves, like Alissa, those guide us every single day. Because in our office, our prosecutors do the right things for the right reasons every single time, even when someone's light might have been turned off. We will keep it alive. And with that, I'd like to welcome Phoenix Police Chief Jerry Williams.
So good afternoon. Thank you, County Attorney. We want to thank our partners with your office. We work very closely with your folks. Quite involved. Never gave up on this case and worked so hard to get justice for Alissa Turney and the loved ones who were impacted by her disappearance. Countless people worked on this case, but there are two people in particular I would like to mention who worked tenaciously to bring this matter to justice. Detective Stuart Summershoe and Detective Will Anderson have followed this case for more than a decade, and their work, your work, has led us to the point where we are at today, where the grand jury has indicted a suspect and an arrest has been made. They've worked closely with the family members of Alissa Turney and never let setbacks discourage them. As was mentioned about passion and tenacity, this is a passion and commitment, and is why I'm so proud to be a member of the Phoenix Police Department. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Williams. And with that, we'll take some questions.
Okay, guys. I got to get out of this for a second. They just ask a few questions and she doesn't answer anything. So, and that little echo in it was not my fault. It was something with their mic. Anyhow, I hope if this guy is responsible, they find out what he did to Alissa, and I hope and pray he gets the death penalty. He deserves it. Okay, not the one. I see the case that you're talking about, Sydney Sutherland. I'm going to click on that real quick. Let me go back to the screen share. Chad will be in court here in a few minutes. Oh my gosh, this is a really pretty girl. Get some of these ads off here. Okay. Sydney Sutherland. Police found phone of 25-year-old who mysteriously vanished while out jogging, says update. Police found the phone of an Arkansas woman who disappeared while out for an afternoon jog, but as of Friday, she still remains missing. Sydney Sutherland, 25, of Jackson County, was last seen jogging near Highway 18 at around 2:30 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Jackson County Sheriff David Lucas told Fox 16 News that a UPS driver spotted the woman jogging near County Road 41 on Wednesday. There appears to be conflicting reports about exactly where she was last seen. It is not clear who reported Sydney missing. According to the report, Sydney lives near Highway 18 between Newport and Grubbs with her boyfriend. Police located Sydney's phone around a quarter of a mile between her home on Highway 67. Someone could have nabbed her. Or the boyfriend could have done something. At some point on Wednesday, Sydney went to a gym in Jonesboro, and investigators are reviewing surveillance video footage from the gym. The sheriff reportedly said Sydney is known to take walks or go jogging in the area where she was last seen. Along with long law enforcement officials and search dogs, numerous friends and community members have been scouring the area for Sydney. Everyone obviously loves her, and you can tell by all the people out there looking for her, friend Felicia Drake told KRAK. She could have had a stalker. Do y'all remember that college girl? I think maybe it was in Iowa, maybe. But anyway, she went out for a jog, and this guy grabbed her and drug her, I think it was like into a cornfield, raped her and killed her. And I actually think she went to school with that suspect's sister. Okay. Sydney was last seen wearing black athletic shorts and a white tank top. She is described as having blonde hair and brown eyes, standing 5 feet 3 inches tall, and weighing about 103 pounds. Gosh, she's not big as nothing. She's really pretty. Gosh, I hope they find her safe. Doesn't look good. She went out for a jog and just never returned. Something happened. She's a really pretty girl. She could have had a stalker. I'm praying for her, though, and her family. Oh, crap. Let me get back into my chat. Let me turn my media down. Hey, Chris Cox. Good morning. They're everywhere. Demons walking among us. Yes, Karen, there's evil people everywhere. The landscape is farmland, an Arkansas version of swampy land. Well, I'm sure they've searched like along the roadside where she was supposedly last seen jogging. You know, eyewitnesses' accounts can be wrong sometimes. They could have had the day confused when they saw her jogging. Who's to say if she really went jogging or something happened to her at her home? Anyways, I hope that they find her safe and sound. I'll follow this and keep my eye out for any updates. And of course, not the one. If there's any updates, let us know. My family is helping in the search, waiting to hear back from them. Grubbs doesn't have a good reputation because of drugs in the area. Oh, wow. Yeah, someone could have grabbed her from the side of the road. They could have her held hostage somewhere. Anything's possible. I hope they locate her. Perverts and stuff everywhere in the world, sex predators. Crazy. Let me see if I can find my other topic I was going to talk about. Yeah, right there it is. Let me get over here and put one of my banners up because we're getting ready to talk about domestic violence. Okay. Gosh, they put so many ads. I try to go click them off. Ex-boyfriend slaughters former fiance, her sister, and 2 cousins in a weekend shooting. This happened in Center Township, Michigan. After he killed these people, he fled and he was found like 120 miles away and apprehended. His name is Raymond Bailey. He's 37 years old. He was arraigned Wednesday on 4 counts of first degree murder and 4 counts of felony firearm in the shooting deaths of Sister Laura and Sarah Tanner and their cousins, who are brothers, Forrest and Neil Sampson. Now, Raymond Bailey had a previous relationship with Laura Tanner. And last year there was a domestic violence incident, but Laura was scared and afraid to testify against him in court. So the charges were dropped. Now, there was a protective order issued. That protective order ran out on May the 1st. And then um, he went in and just shot him out. It says Center Township Police Chief Eric Luke said that a frantic 911 call on Saturday from one of the victims led officers to the home of Laura Tanner. We were dispatched to the vicinity on a cellular 911 call where two people were arguing. And we pinpointed that house and we came upon the scene. Inside, they found the cousins shot dead. Detectives determined Raymond Bailey was a suspect and launched a search for him. There was that almost 24-hour period where we just didn't know what happened to him and where he was. Then on Sunday, Raymond Bailey turned himself into the Bay County Sheriff's Department more than 100 miles away. He allegedly confessed to shooting the family over the phone and through text. So he was brought back to Wayne County and he's being held without bond. He is expected in court again on September 2nd. So, yeah, they had previously dated. They had been engaged, but like I said, they had broken up because he was violent. He beat on her and stuff. She was scared to death of him. And he just walks in this house, and here the sisters are home and their cousins. The cousins just so happen they're brothers, are there visiting, and they're shot and killed. So you can get out of a relationship, an abusive relationship, and think you're moving on with your life, but you're still not safe because these abusers, when they lose control, they go psycho. If they get in their mind. If they can't have you, nobody can. We had an incident here. This was about 2 years before I started YouTube. A woman had left her husband and she had moved out and she was dating someone else. Well, she wanted to go back to the home they shared and get some clothes. So she took her sister with her. When she walks into the house, her ex pulls out a gun and shoots her. The neighbor hears the gunshot. He's an ex Marine and he runs over with his gun, holds that man at gunpoint, and the man runs out of the house with the gun. He goes on the run. He ends up down. The police chase him all the way to Kingsport, Tennessee, at the Dairy Queen parking lot, and he took his own life inside of his vehicle. You know, there was a standoff with police. We also had a woman who walked into a post office. She had left her abusive husband. She went in to check her mail. He walked up behind her when she was getting her mail out of the P.O. box and blowed her head off. Yeah. When you leave an abuser, they don't need to know your location. You need to hide from them. Hey, Fanny Ho. that's a that's a lovely name. Oh my goodness. Anyways, that's a sad story. I was laughing about that person's name. Um, let's look and see if Chad Daybell's in court yet, guys. Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, so I guess it's going to be in Judge Stephen. Let's get to Judge Stevens' voice. Is that his name? I can find it, guys. Okay, here we go. We'll stream it from his channel, I guess. Okay, it doesn't have anything up yet. Okay, so it looks like KTVB.com's YouTube channel is going to stream it straight from the judge's YouTube channel. Okay, looks like it's live.
Prior to hear the court okay?
Yes, Your Honor, we can. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Daybell, my name is Judge Boyce, and I'm the district judge for Fremont County, and I've been assigned.
What in the crap?
Judge for Fremont County, and I've been assigned to preside over your case. In a few minutes, I will arraign you on criminal charges that have been filed against you by the state of Idaho. Before doing so, I will explain what will happen at your arraignment and then advise you of your constitutional rights and plea options. If at any time you need to communicate in confidence with Mr. Pryor, please advise me and you'll be allowed to consult with him outside of the court's presence and off the record during this hearing. In this case, the state filed an information on August 17th, 2020. That document sets forth the criminal charges that have been filed against you. The information is not evidence, it's only a charge or allegation brought by the state of Idaho. Mr. Pryor, I've had indication from your counsel that you did receive a copy of the information and you have reviewed that with your attorney, Mr. Pryor. Is that correct?
Judge, Mr. Daybell has an opportunity yesterday to go over the information with me in its entirety. He had no questions. And at this time, Judge, we will waive formal reading of the information, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pryor. Mr. Daybell, at this time I'll go over the plea options you have in this case. The purpose of an arraignment is to have you enter a plea to the charges in the information. So at the end of the arraignment, you'll be asked to enter such a plea. In that regard, you have three options. Your first option is that you may enter a plea of not guilty. If you elect to plead not guilty, I will schedule a jury trial and a pretrial conference in your case. Also, by pleading not guilty, you will maintain all of your constitutional rights in this case, which rights were previously explained to you on June 10th at your initial appearance. Among those rights, you have the right to be presumed innocent. The presumption of innocence is a real and important right which lies at the foundation of our criminal justice system. Therefore, unless you either plead guilty at a later date or the state proves the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, the presumption of innocence remains in your case. You also have the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of your peers, as well as the right to see, hear, confront, and have your attorney question all witnesses who may be called to testify against you. During the pendency of your case and at trial, you also have the right to be represented by an attorney. As you are in custody, you have the right to communicate with your attorney at all stages of your case, and reasonable access to communication with your attorney will be provided. At your trial, you will have the right to present evidence in your defense and the right to the subpoena power of this court to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your own behalf. Finally, if you plead not guilty, you will retain the right to remain silent and exercise the privilege against compulsory self-incrimination. This means that you cannot be required to testify against yourself. However, you may voluntarily take the witness stand at trial if you so choose, but you cannot be compelled to do so. If you decide not to testify in your own behalf, the prosecuting attorney can make no remarks about your failure to testify and cannot imply to the jury that exercising your constitutional right to remain silent is any indication of your guilt. Your second option you would have this morning, Mr. Daybell, is to stand silent and enter no plea at all. If you decided to do that, I would enter a plea of not guilty for you, and you would continue to maintain all of the rights I previously explained this morning. Your third option is that you may plead guilty to any or all of the charges. However, it is important that you understand that if you pled guilty, you would automatically waive your rights under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, as well as similar rights contained in the Idaho Constitution. In other words, if you decide to plead guilty, you will waive your right to a trial and there will be no trial. You would no longer be presumed innocent and the state would no longer have the burden of proving the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. By pleading guilty, you would also give up your 6th Amendment rights to confront your accusers and cross-examine any witnesses against you. You would also give up your right to offer evidence in your own behalf in response to the state's case against you. You would also waive any defenses you have to the charges contained in the information, including any claims that there is a defect in the state of Idaho's case against you or that you have been treated unfairly by the court. You would further give up your 5th Amendment right to remain silent and the privilege against self-incrimination. If you were to plead guilty, you would also be required to testify under oath concerning the facts of the alleged offenses in this case to allow me to determine whether there is a factual basis for your plea, whether the plea is made knowingly, freely, and voluntarily, and to determine whether you fully understand the consequences of your guilty plea. Finally, you are advised that if you decide to plead guilty, any testimony that you give while under oath concerning the alleged offenses could and would likely be used against you at a later trial if I were to not accept your plea for some reason, or if you later withdraw your plea. It is very important that you understand all of the rights and options that I just explained to you. Before we go any further, Mr. Daybell, do you have any questions regarding what I've just explained, or do you need to discuss any of that with your attorney?
I have no questions.
Very well. Mr. Daybell, you were brought before this court to answer the information filed by the state, which alleges that you have committed serious crimes and that 4 felony charges have been filed by the state against you. You have the 6th Amendment right to counsel at every critical stage of these proceedings, which I see you've already exercised as Mr. Pryor represents you here today. Before I allow you to respond by entering a plea to these charges in the information, I have a few questions I need to ask you. First of all, we've confirmed you can hear me okay this morning. Is that correct, Mr. Daybell?
Yes.
All right. Have you had enough time in your mind to review the information with your attorney?
Yes.
Is your name as listed in the information correctly listed?
It is. Yes.
Thank you. At this time, your counsel has advised me that you would waive a formal reading of the information. Is that correct, Mr. Pryor?
It is correct, Judge.
All right, then at this time, the court will summarize the charges from the information that was filed by the state on August 17th. The information alleges in count 1, the crime of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony under Idaho Code 18-2603. That charge carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Mr. Daybell, do you understand that charge and the possible maximum penalties?
Yes.
Count 2, Mr. Daybell charges conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. That's a felony under Idaho Code 18-2603 and also Idaho Code 18-1701. That charge also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand count 2, the charge and the possible penalties?
Yes.
Count 3 is contained in the information charges destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony under Idaho Code 18-2603. That charge also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the charge in count 3 and the possible penalties?
Yes.
And finally, count 4 charges conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. That's a felony under Idaho Code 18-2603 and 18-1701, and it also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand that charge and those possible penalties?
Yes.
And I'll also explain to you, Mr. Daybell, those charges or the possible penalties in each count could run either consecutively, meaning together, or they could be ordered to be served concurrently. I'm sorry, concurrently would be running together, and consecutively, meaning one would have to be served after the other was completed. At this time, Mr. Pryor, is Mr. Daybell ready to enter his plea? Or do you need any additional time to discuss this with Mr. Daybell?
Judge, at this time, we are prepared to go forward for the entry of a plea. Mr. Daybell, on behalf of Mr. Daybell, we will enter a plea of not guilty to all of the charges and obviously request a pretrial and a jury trial, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Pryor, the not guilty pleas will be entered as to counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the information. With that then, counsel, let's discuss the time for setting of a trial in this case. We did have a brief discussion prior to the hearing. There was a suggestion that we look at January for a date for trial. Mr. Wood, how many days of trial would the state be requesting in this matter?
Your Honor, I think we should probably plan on, as we've discussed, about 3 weeks for this trial.
Mr. Pryor, your thoughts from the defense on how many days we'd need for trial?
Judge, as we previously discussed, I anticipate at least 3 weeks will be needed in this matter.
We could schedule trial to commence on January 11th through January 29th.
That's acceptable to the defense, Your Honor.
And that works for the state.
There is one federal holiday during that time period on the 18th. So that would have you losing 1 day. Is that still sufficient time, do you think, Mr. Wood?
I think that would work, Your Honor. I think we can figure that out.
All right. Any concerns with that, Mr. Pryor?
No concerns, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. We'll set the trial then to commence Monday, January 11th. Council will intend to conduct full trial days. I won't be having any other hearings scheduled during the time of the trial. Just for planning purposes, we typically will run a trial to start every day at 9 o'clock and go until 5 o'clock with a lunch break. Let's schedule a pretrial conference then. December 10th at 10:30 a.m.
Works for the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
It's fine for the state.
All right, we'll send out the notice of trial setting. Mr. Wood, is there anything further from the state this morning on this matter?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Very well. Mr. Pryor, anything further?
Not at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, council will send that notice out, and if there is nothing else, then I appreciate your attendance and preparedness this morning, and we will be in recess.
Thank you.
Okay. We're tired of looking at his ugly mug. I couldn't believe it speaks. Not guilty, my butt. They all plead not guilty. He'll probably change his plea. His lawyer's ready to go to trial, though. Oh, JR is going to get beat at trial, in my opinion. They're both, well, they've already been kept and stuff. They're going to be kept and stuff for the rest of their life. They're never going to see the light of day again. They're going to prison. Hopefully they get the death penalty. They deserve the death penalty. Anytime a kid is being murdered, in this case, 2 kids were murdered, they should automatically get the death penalty. If they can prove they did it, got evidence against them, death penalty. Child molesters too. Sex predators, they should all get the death penalty, in my opinion. I've got it wrote down in my planner. I was writing the dates down as the judge was saying them. So he goes back to see December 10th. That's Hanukkah, says on my calendar, for his pretrial hearing. And then his trial should be, what, January 2021, the 11th. I hope I get it. My birthday is January 23rd, so I hope there's a big guilty verdict come in for my birthday present. Make my year. Okay. Hey, Shug. Good morning. That's what I was wondering, Fanny. Where's the usual judge? Because I went to his channel this morning, Judge, what's his name, Farron Adams, to see if there, was a live stream set up, but nothing. I didn't know anything about this judge. I can't wait to see Lori go to trial. Hope she does a jury trial. I look for her to try to make a plea deal. One of them's going to make a plea deal try. But even if Chad rolls on Lori or vice versa, how do we believe anything they say? These are child killers. We can't trust what they say. My birthday is in 13 days. Oh, is it really, Lisa? I'll have to write that down in my calendar. What date does it come on? Well, you can tell me in Discord and I'll write it down. Oh, yeah. I about forgot one of my topics this morning, guys. There was a meth head, and I'm going to call him this, a meth head in Kentucky, high on meth, trying to sell their 4-year-old child at a gas station. He tried to sell this kid twice. It's ridiculous. I want you to look at this ugly thing. Hold on, let me get it pulled up. Some people might get offended I say that, but oh well, that's exactly what he is. Trying to sell a little kid at a gas station. Here the old thing is, he looks like he come out of freaking Wrong Turn, maybe. High on meth, Kentucky man tries to sell 4-year-old boy at gas station to 2 different people. He's 29 years old. His name is Harry Day. And this happened in Corbin, Kentucky, not too far from where I live at. Said it happened at a Speedy Mart gas station in Corbin, where Day attempted to sell a 4-year-old child on August 16th. He tried to sell the boy for $2,500 to 2 different people without luck. The Herald Ledger reports that witnesses overheard him and contacted police. Thank God. Someone contacted police. If you see something, say something or hear something. Investigators said witnesses described the boy as a black child and reported the description and license plate of Day's vehicle. Authorities tracked the car to the home of Gertrude Henson, the child's mother. Gertrude and Day both admitting to using meth earlier in the day. Inside the residence, authorities found drug paraphernalia and methamphetamine. Along with the human trafficking charge, Day is also facing charges of possession of controlled substance, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, driving under the influence, and child endangerment. A judge sentenced Day to 1 year behind bars for the human trafficking conviction. Gertrude Henson was also arrested and charged with endangering a minor and several drug offenses. She remains at the Knox County Detention Center. And it's all it's saying. Well, you know what? What was her child doing with this scumbag out in a vehicle to begin with? Some people just don't need kids. And getting high on meth in front of their little children. She probably put him up to going and selling that kid at a gas station so they could get more meth money, if the truth be known. Piece of shit. Yeah, I'm not surprised either. It just gets me so riled up. Guys, if you see something, say something. If you suspect a child is living in a filthy home or being physically or sexually abused, report it. Don't be afraid to report it. You could save a child from years of abuse or being murdered. You could save them from being murdered at the hands of their abuser. I know a lot of people abuse CPS and make these false reports when they're mad at people. That's wrong. And sometimes I think people's afraid to get involved. But I'm not afraid to get involved if I think a child is in danger. Hey, if you suspect child abuse and you make a call and there's nothing going on, then those people got nothing to worry about. You know, if you really suspect child abuse, please pick up the phone. Please. You could make an anonymous call. Sydney might be family to me. She might be my aunt's granddaughter, great granddaughter. Reaching out to them now. Let us know, not the one. Oh my God! Imagine bumping into him on a dark night. Yeah. Imagine. Okay, so Corbin, Kentucky, just a small coal mining town. Imagine living up in a holler. You're home alone by yourself, and this thing comes and knocks on your door. This car broke down or something. Goodness gracious. That's like scary. It's like something out of a horror movie. It didn't say, but I'm sure they took this child. You know that they did. With them having drugs, with her having drugs in the home since it's her child. I mean, she's in jail right now, but if she ever gets out of jail, she'll probably never get him back. She'd have to go through all kinds of parenting classes, home inspections, random home inspections where they just show up. She'd have to go through rehab. She's probably not going to do all that. I hope the little boy finds someone to adopt him, someone to care for him, that's good to him, because he so deserves it. Every child deserves to be loved and cared for properly. You know, and you don't got to be rich to provide a good home for a child and for them to be happy. It just breaks my heart. He'd not walk out of a holler. Now, if he came to my door, he'd probably get kept and stuffed by me or Mark. You don't never walk up in a holler in these hollers. Just knock on somebody's door acting crazy. Meth and heroin bad up my way. The meth has got bad around here because they cut all the doctors got in trouble for writing pain pills. So all the addicts learned how to make shake and bake. So it's gotten really bad around here. It's about ruined our little community. There's still good people in our community, but hey, there's good and bad people everywhere in the world, you know. Let's see, is there anything else? Let's go back and look at Sydney's picture again. See, it's not the one that's close. This is close to her heart. Let's get a good look at her. Gosh, she's really a really pretty young lady. I'm afraid she might have had a stalker or something. Someone could have known her routine. That's why sometimes it's bad to have a routine. I'm the type of person that has a routine. I usually do the same stuff, the same times every day. I have to do it that way because of my ADHD and like my mania and stuff. But that can be bad because then, you know, these weirdos will learn your routine. Someone's probably seen her out walking and jogging at the same time. some stalker. But I hope that they find her safe. I hope nobody's done anything to her. See if I'm going to show you a pic of this gal's twin when your live is done. Oh, okay. Yes. See, check your DM for this pic. Okay. Let me get into my DMs real quick. I'll check. I see there's an update on that girl that was found scalped in the desert. We're going to have to look at that. Let me see what Lisa sent me first, though. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is her twin, Lisa. That girl's pretty, the picture you sent me. They do look like twins. Crap. Can't operate my laptop. Update. Arrest made. Motive revealed after American mom found scalped with her teeth forcefully pulled out in Mexico. But has been arrested was a Texas woman found tortured and dead in Mexico earlier this month. Okay, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this name. Tama. According to the Tamaulipas, maybe Attorney General's office, police arrested Braulio Trevino Martinez, maybe I said that right, 39, for the murder of 23-year-old Lisbeth Flores. The suspect was arrested at his home, which is in Mexico, a subdivision. Montemoros, Mexico, maybe? Okay, so Lisbeth told her mother on August 9th she would be home to her Brownsville, Texas residence later that evening after making a trip to Mexico, reportedly to visit her boyfriend. When she hadn't returned home by the following day, her mother contacted the police. But on August 11th, authorities found Lisbeth deceased on the side of the road in Matamoros. She had been beaten with a large rock. Her scalp had been removed and her teeth forcefully pulled out. Wow. Oh gosh, here is the guy that did it. Oh my God, look at him. He looks so freaking mean, y'all. Okay, the Daily Mail reports that Lisbeth's family knew Martinez, but it's unclear what the nature of the relationship was. So he knew Lisbeth. Robbery appears to be the motive for the attack, authorities says. Martinez allegedly lured the victim to Mexico by claiming her boyfriend had been kidnapped and asking for ransom money. So that's how he got her down there. The cause of death has been listed as blunt force trauma. Nancy Grace and her advertisements drive me insane. She was young. She had so many things ahead of her and more because she had 2 children. And I want that what they did to my daughter, each one who participated in her death, I want them to pay. Mother Maria Rubio said during an interview with Telemundo. So far, no other arrests have been made. So the motive was robbery. So why did he scalp her and remove her teeth? That's pretty personal to me. And it says that he knew her family, but it was unclear about the nature of their relationship. Fanny O, nut job, yeah. Yeah, that's an understatement. Hey, Mandy and your cute kitty. Hideous. Don't that seem awful personal, guys? To scalp someone and forcefully remove their teeth? Why would he remove her teeth for? Is he going to sell them in the black market or something? I don't understand that. That might be cartel. They do some gross things to people in the horror stories. Really. That cartel, man, there's some mean people. Mean people. I've been meaning to watch a documentary about what's his name? El Chapo. Harder to identify. Good point, Verbal. It just seems like that's just awful personal, just like to scalp someone. I mean, if you scalp someone, they're still going to be able to identify you. I wonder if he cut her fingers or anything off. They torture first, then kill. It's to leave a message. Hey, Diane. Or is it Diana? Diana? I love that name. Reminds me of Princess Diana. I'm hoping and praying that this girl was already deceased when he pulled her teeth out and scalped her. If not, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Teeth are used to identify people. Yeah, this just blows my mind. Look at this guy. He looks mean as crap. I wouldn't want to run into him alone anywhere. It's just not the tattoos on him. I got tattoos myself. I have quite a bit. I have quite a few tattoos. Um, it's just the look in his face that's scary to me. It's not the tattoos. Hey, Alissa. That's a new level of amped up. Yes. Yes, Barbara. Most people moving to the U.S. and Canada. That's even scarier. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live near the border with rough customers like this. I'd say they keep their neighborhoods terrified down there. There's a lot of good people across the border, of course. There's bad ones too. Good and bad people everywhere from all walks of life. Yes, yeah, I don't have any tattoos on my face. No, all my tattoos I can cover up. I've got a shoulder piece and several on my back and got one on the back of my neck. It's flowers and butterflies. Pulling teeth out, that's old mafia stuff. Yeah. Speaking of mafia, I just watched that John Gotti movie, the newer one where John Travolta plays Gotti. It was okay. I liked the older Gotti movie. I think it came out like early 2000s. I don't know if he's a gang member, but he's used their tactics. Yeah, I bet you anything he's a gang member. He's in some type of gang, probably in the cartel. There's different gangs down through there, of course. I heard down in Mexico, they're real bad to kidnap people and hold them for ransom. Very. I feel bad for the locals down there. You know, the normal people that aren't involved in the cartel, the families and stuff, you know. Be rough to live around that kind of crap, around violent people. Well, guys, I guess I better get off here. I've been on here forever, I feel like. Mark went to have some little fatty tumors. He's got these little knots all over his body, his arms, legs, back. Doctor said they was just little fatty tumors. So he went to have a bunch of those removed this morning. So I'm going to go in there and put some clean stuff on the bed and just do some extra cleaning. I keep my house clean, of course. I'm OCD. But yeah, I need to get a few things done while it's raining. Got all the animals calmed down. Anyways, I've enjoyed the chat and I am planning on doing a members chat for the channel members tomorrow night to play some true crime trivia and just goof off. And if anybody wants to come up on panel and hang out while we play trivia, you're more than welcome. But anyways, I will set that stream up and then I will share it in the post. What I'm probably going to do is wait until after I put up my farm animals and then do the stream, which will probably be about 9 o'clock. Yeah, I will update you all. I'm going to, yeah, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to send Mark's mom a text message. She went with him this morning because, I asked him, I was like, do you want me to go? And he's like, no, you got Timothy here and all the animals. I will be fine. They're not completely putting him under, just sedating him a little bit. Yeah, come back in, Fanny Ho. Your name cracks me up. I can't hardly say it, hun. I just got to call you Fanny. Okay. Let me stop screen sharing this and get off this ugly dude's picture. But anyways, I will see you channel members tomorrow night to play some true crime trivia. You guys try to make it because we're going to have fun. Some of it'll be easy and maybe some of it'll be hard. Who knows? But we're just going to goof off and have a good time. We've had a stressful week. I know I have. Been to the vet twice with my dog. Now Mark's in surgery. School online classes started back for my son yesterday. It's just been a rough week, so I need to have a little bit of fun. But anyways, I love y'all. Have a good Friday. Be safe, be kind, and peace. Oh, and check out Annabelle the Goat's video on Sunny's Funny Farm. I've got to promote my Rooster and Goats channel. Annabelle got a blueberry Pop Tart yesterday, and she didn't seem to love it as much as I thought she would. But anyways, check that out. Love you guys. Be safe. Peace.